Hey everybody, welcome back for more Cultist Simulator. So last episode, things got a little squirrely. I was doing some prep work to kind of get through the expeditions in the continent, which I think is now the third tier of expedition. But we ran into some trouble. We had a bit of evidence I couldn't seem to shake. We ran into some money trouble. Things were happening. On the upside, we are reliably summoning followers from the Mansus, the like temporary helpers from the Mansus. However, we did run into one snag. I didn't confirm this. I didn't go back and look, but we had one of our pawns who we had upgraded to a disciple. They have turned, unfortunately, into a poor lunatic, which counts as a prisoner. So we're going to do our best to hopefully use that to our advantage here and use it towards the studying of an upgrade in one of our lores. Now, also worth noting, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do next, see if there was any cult work I wanted to do, and I stumbled on this, a new way, which seems to me like we can rededicate the cult, which I don't know if I want to do. Like we've kind of already gone Mirror of Glory, we've got Seers, so we might stick with it. The text does indicate that you are only allowed to do it once. So I guess that's kind of a way. When I first started the Priest Legacy, I mentioned that it was kind of a bummer that we were doing the Mirror of Glory, because what if you wanted to do another cult, another aspect? It looks like that's the mechanism with which you would do that. Presently, the goal is to keep churning through expeditions. We do have a couple units that we kind of want to get back into the rotation so we don't lose their countdown timers, and hopefully, like, goal of this episode, let's just do it. Let's get through the entirety of the continent, and then we're gonna have to figure out something, because I don't have the next level of Secret Histories books. All right, so Fermier Abbey. Robert Fermier spent much of his unsavory fortune on the endowment of this monumental, forest-crowded abbey. The monks dislike visitors. Their ways are not exactly orthodox. They celebrate a certain harvest. Festival with unsavory vigor. So that sounds to me like we're going to come up against opposition. We're going to go in with 18 edge on this bad boy. So those monks had better hope they're warrior monks. Fermier Abbey, folded into the forest like a jewel box smuggled in a green robe. If we can make it through the forest, we'll still have to face the monks. So we may need to send some lantern or some knock, perhaps, to find our way to it, but that we can worry about once we've actually seen what the challenges are. Meanwhile, we have commissions that we can turn in, or at least a commission we can turn in, because I'm not doing anything else with the talk verb. And then once our study verb is available again, we're going to get through these books. The study verb I left open so that we would potentially be able to upgrade lore and use our poor lunatic friend here, but I don't think that timing is going to pan out. I figured I would rather get something from it rather than a nothing from it. I'll take my bronze Spintria, I suppose. I still don't really have any use for you either. I haven't thought of her in ages. All right, there's our lantern lore. And then get this forge lore handled. Might as well just get all of these done and turned in again while we have the talk verb sitting dormant. I know I could be using it to keep these two in play by resetting their timers, but I don't really have a job for them as of yet. All right, Peril Prowled Forest. Interesting, so this is different. Long ago, the primal trees marched from sea to sea. Some traces of their reign still survive, like this dense and choking territory of root and thorn. The practicalities of forge, or the mysteries of moth, may see us through. So this is actually much less direct than I had kind of intended it. I assumed we would just be like looking to get through the forest via looking. I said that in the worst way possible. But fortunately, the guys we've summoned up are actually fairly heavy in moth. So let's send the Caligine. And then we'll send the Voiceless Dead right after. All right, we have an affliction that we are going to immediately ditch. Might as well use the vitality that's actually already spent. And then I gotta get some contentment in there. There's one. We're gonna need a second one. Send the Voiceless Dead in. So this is gonna give us a ton of moth. The wood beneath the Mansus is darker even than this place. The moth will guide our footfalls. Success is very likely. Love to see it. Yeah, man, the commissions just like immediately make all that stuff go away. All right, so we lost our prisoner, sadly. But if I remember correctly from our previous study, we can still get like half of this done now, even without a prisoner. And it'll stay that way for another time. So rip to one of the low ranking members of the Mirror of Glory. Could not handle what was going on. Something up ahead. We've made it through the forest. All right, so we've sent a crack team of otherworldly supernatural horror shows on an expedition through the forest. So at least that's working. And then you were a substantial edge. All right. I kind of knew ahead of time that I was going to need to have some kind of a plan at the ready, just because you wind up burning through funding pretty quickly. You figure every expedition, you're losing the money to the normal kind of money pool. But at the same time, I'm also throwing money into expeditions. But we're prepared for that. We're gonna need one more contentment, so let's just get that done with. All right, so now we're up against the monks, which it looks like we're gonna be using edge for that. So we're gonna send, excuse me, we're gonna send one more just to try and seal that deal. I took a break after recording last episode. I grabbed some lunch and I was like, even during lunch, I was just sitting there like, okay, new expeditions. We need more lore. We need to do more studying. Risk your health or use a prisoner. Do I risk my health? I'd like for this to be done so that I don't have to try and remember that we've got it halfway. So I guess we will give it a go. The monks, a potent deception. We have brought here with us certain sacred texts. Oh, are we using the moth? Interesting. So even if I like hyper stack edge, we're going to try and get past it via deception, it would appear. I got to assume that's moth. It might be the winter, but I think it's the moth that's doing that. If that's the case, that's another pretty good expedition that allows you to stock up on one aspect and get through all the obstacles it levies at you, which is nice. All right. And then Poppy and Doc are going to be ready to give me more commissions. My goodness. There's really no reason to have a job once you can do commissions. I wonder if that runs dry at some point. I'm kind of shocked. The commissions, to me, it would make more sense from a gameplay perspective if after you agreed to a commission, you had a timeline to get it done, because otherwise it's basically just money sitting as IOUs. Faith is a double-edged weapon. These monks have great talent in the matter of believing, and so they have believed our lies. Detective did not turn up anything new. That's wonderful. Very substantial knock. I don't think we're going to immediately go do these ones, but we might as well see them. And you know what? Hot on the heels of me saying we don't need to have a job. Come on, the congregation, they need us. They need us. Can't just leave them in the lurch. Despair is donezo. We have a very substantial secret histories, which I do have exactly one left that can fulfill that. Yeah, so maybe sell my silver spinches again after this expedition just to really shore that up. I'm still trying to puzzle over what we do as our next step to try and continue to go deeper in Mansus. Is that something you'll tell me about? What if I talk to you about the Way of the White Door? I guess it's worth a shot. Maybe she's like the hidden guide, because you can talk to her about anything. All right, cool. So that did indeed upgrade. That has given me a level 8. Oh, you're a level 10 for Moth. There we go. Raucous shrieks attend the passage of the names of the Grail. We produce them as best we can for the pulsing power they lend. Use this with Byzantine tinct and a moth influence or any other resource of equal power to summon a raw prophet. Okay, cool. So wait, that's a summon we've not seen before. So maybe we'll plug that in just to read the text. And then we got our new books that we now can finally get to translating. Book of True Blood, a work by Cassius the Thoman in Latin. Been a bit since we saw any Latin texts. Thought maybe that had been replaced with more esoteric languages. All right, so our preaching has kicked us a fervor opportunity, so let's go ahead and take that. Let's preach with kind of the OG lantern sensibilities, and then let me see about recruiting someone. There's something I want to check, because I think I remember there's a way you can interact with your cult and a random person to convert them to a prisoner. I don't think I'm going to do that, but I want to see if I can do that with these temporary guys. Beneath the boughs, the monks and their miseries lie behind us. Here in their chapel courtyard, a great yew rises beside a granite altar, lidded like a sarcophagus. What's within? All right, so this gets me a temporary buddy, a percipient worshiper. So you can chill there for just a moment. I want to check something on my talk verbs available. The space inside the altar is filled with broken cups, every one painted red. Okay, so this was like dedicated to the Grail. Every one painted red, every one scrawled with vile graffiti and otherwise befouled. The monks must have held great ceremonies of detestation and kept the remains as trophies. Buried among the cup corpses are other treasures. Cup corpses, that's neat. All right, I don't know why that's all in caps. That's intense. But it is an Aramaic textbook, which we won't wind up needing because we already speak it. Okay, so we're gonna decide here what we're doing with the next expedition, but first let me get everything sorted. We'll read these books as we go to translate them, so I'm not putting them all together right away. So if I go to the auction house, we're gonna lose some time on the summons. 17 funding. I'm gonna do one trip to Oriflammes to sell a silver spintria, and then if I'm quick, we should be able to keep one of the summons that are kind of ticking down. Okay, she didn't tell me anything, so that didn't actually help. But what if, so if I talk to you, promote a believer. Provide a so I can promote these guys even. All right, this isn't what I wanted to check, but I'm checking that too. Basically, I've reached a stage where there's certain parts of the game that I am so lost in, or at least so ill-informed in, that if I can find a way to do something with them, we're gonna do something with them. All right. I had forgotten that I already had a spot for you. Book of True Blood. Cassius the Thauman reveals the deeds of the unnumbered legion, the secret army that protected Rome against the shadowless empire. The legion's legate answered directly to the hour called the Tribune of Scars and was promised immortality if he died in battle. That's pretty badass. Count Jannings is up to give us another job. I have an affliction that I did not prepare for, but you know what? Sometimes time is money, friend. Ooh, another exaltation, hot on the heels. Oh, but my cult is busy in the talk verb, so we won't be able to exalt anyone. That's fine. Work is available. What do I do with it? We can work. Wait, I can work with decrepitude? Beg in the streets. I'll display my infirmities and hope for compassion from passers-by. Yo, that's intense. What do I want to do? I mean, I guess I could do commissions. Do I have a right that I'm necessarily interested in? Notoriety doesn't help me at all. You can't ditch notoriety. You can get rid of dread, but you can't do it with notoriety. Or mystique. They don't work that way. Contentment's got some heart and lantern. You've got some moth and secret histories. You know what? Let's do one just... Again, I kind of want to see if we can find different summons that we haven't seen previous. So that doesn't do anything. This one didn't give me the like, hey, if you add this, something good's gonna happen. This one did. Okay. Oh no, because that's just talking about working with contentment. All right, I've abandoned that plan. It provided me with too many answers. We're gonna lose the Maid in the Mirror. That's fine. I think we're actually gonna wind up almost losing the Voiceless Dead. But I might be able to sneak him in if we start the expedition right away and send him with the first volley. You have given me a chilly atmosphere though, and that one I know we can use. Edge or heart or forge. Summon one of the throng of the dead. So is that different than the Voiceless Dead? I'll need winter at the 4th intensity. Okay, so that's not enough winter using just the 2. But if I add forge, that one works and I can bring in another Callagine. And then what was the other one? Edge, Sun and Rags, but we're a little light because this is only a 2nd level winter. I mean, I might as well try and summon a Callagine. See, this is the tricky thing though, right? So like here I am, I'm summoning because I don't want to deal with the dread. But as we've seen, the summons can have some bad side effects. Because I'm still convinced that, I guess I can't say we've seen because it's still conjecture, but I think that's what got my disciple. So I'm just gonna let that one roll. We might as well, instead of the work verb sitting dormant, let's just do some boring old commissions. It's safer than summoning beings from the Mansus, that's for sure. All right, completed our auction. We've done it. We're still going to be able to put these guys into the mix and then still have just enough time to get the percussigan in there if we want them. So let's go to Orthos Wood, because this might be another one that sends us with moth. The pines grow thick as hairs on a dog's back. The airs of the inner wood are chokingly thick with resin and dust. The source that brought you here claimed that in the dawn times, the greatest tree at the wood's black heart served as a perch for a great masked crow. So this gives me a ton of moth to start. Oh, it's not going to give me, I need this before it'll tell me what's going on. In the black heart of Orthos Woods, we might find the tree where the masked crow met its peers. But the forest itself is a peril, and the cannibal clans who live there are another. So we might have some fighting to do too. This is going to give us 14 moth, which I'm hoping will get us through the woods, but we're going to have to follow up with maybe a little bit of brute force, which that's fine. A percipient word. Yeah, so this didn't change their stat at all. So if I talk to you, what can I do with you? You can do augury, just like anyone who is a lantern disciple. Isn't there a way? I thought there was a way. Maybe I have to explore my headquarters. I thought there was a way that you could do something with a follower and convert them to a prisoner. All right, yeah, so moth will get us through the forest. This is the same set as last time, except for instead of monks, it's watchers, which are very similar. They just, monks are a little bit more restrictive because you can't seduce them. But we'll send the percussigan in, and then we'll follow up with Victor just to kind of front load some edge. In the final part, Cassius confesses to being a former legate. He recounts his terror of the Tribune and divulges the secret lore of the Golden General, the champion of the Shadowless Empire, the enemy of the Tribune, in the hope that the Tribune will someday be undone. This gave me the Lionsmith's names. The Lionsmith is young by the standards of the hours, but old by the standards of war. His names are recent recruits, and their recitation has a savage power. That's intense. Okay. The Morphe Codex, a text of the Sisterhood of the Knot unearthed by Evan Morphe in Aramaic. Yeah, I don't know any of what that does. Got my health back. Dream with dread. I need fascinate. No, I need contentment. Fortunately, I had one on the board. Didn't even know that was going to line up. Perfect. I mentioned a couple episodes ago maybe that I was excited when I was done to be able to kind of like go and watch and see like what a seasoned cult sim player, like how they approach the game. I think one of the things I'm most excited about is to go and look at how other people lay their boards out. Cause like this works for me, and this is how I've been doing it almost since the beginning with kind of more or less this layout. But I'm sure there's people out there that have wild layouts. The wood beneath the Mansus is blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay, so this is exactly the same challenge as last time. So I'm assuming 14 will be good. Did I have more last time? I don't know if I did, because it was basically the same crew. So I'm going to send in a preemptive edge aspect. I think that is a smarter usage of our resources. Yeah, Dread's got edge energy. I don't know if we can summon anything with that. We can take a look. All right, there's our knock. Let me put you over here. Let me see if I can get rid of this Dread. Lantern, Heart, Winter. This gives me a hint. Yeah. That's the percussagant. Okay, I think we've done this summon specifically several times. And then that's the Maid in the Mirror. Give me a Maid in the Mirror. I like the combo. She's like the perfect ghost fighter. You get that Winter and Edge. Okay, so can I talk with this? Interrogate, intimidate, beguile, instruct, recruit. Yeah, okay. Betray and imprison a follower. So we can do that even with the temp followers. So if I need prisoners, we do kind of have like a source of it, provided I don't know if there'll be repercussions with the church. Oh shit. We've lost the path. The forest towers against the dusk sky. The beasts of the forest are silent, but now and then we see their eyes. So hopefully that one doesn't yield injury. I think that's just a money sink. And then in which a priestess of the Sisterhood of the Knot claims to have discerned the true meaning of the Thunderskin's birth. The writer credits the Red Grail, the Ring Yew, and the Horned Axe, the powers the Sisterhood reveres, with agreeing a final treaty between the hours of the House of the Hours. Oh wait, the hours of the House and the hours that they've displaced. The Thunderskin loved the Yew, and the Grail destroyed him. As restitution for the slaying of the Horned Axe's sisters and brothers. So wait. And the hours they'd displaced. I kind of had the impression that how do you displace an hour? So is this like 2 generations of this like unfathomable, powerful godhood? Interesting. We'd had a couple books that talked about relationships between the hours, but I guess I never thought about the possibility of some hours being ousted, and that some of the hours we're reading about aren't like the original hours. Man, I gotta figure that out. There's several more doors in Mansus that we're just ignoring. Count Jannings, I can get your commission now. And I think I can get yours too, actually, come to think of it. Damn it, no, it was an injury one. Who got hurt? Our voiceless dead. So does he just die? Is that how that works? I don't think we get a chance to heal him, right? So we got to send him more moth because we're still up against the forest. So this is actually less moth than we had. Yeah, so he died and it left me with a chilly atmosphere. Edge commission. Ooh, bumping cards. Okay, so I mean, there's your big advantage on using the summons, right? Like, if we don't want to have to continually worry about the health of our cultists, if you've got a summon for the job, put them to work. Still wish I wish I knew what like the hidden tips and tricks on some of the verbs were. We're gonna send another moth. You don't have any moth, right? Okay, we're gonna send another moth. I mean, at 18 moth. Goodness gracious, I hope we make it through. Let's do a commission. I thought I did that commission, but maybe I didn't actually advance it. So this one's gonna bother me. So what advantage would there be for me switching what the cult is doing? I don't know if there's any. The Thunderskin entered the Mansus through the Peacock door. See, there's a ton more doors. Through the Peacock door, a privilege never given to the witch and sister. But then their merit was much less. The writer admits that entry through the Peacock door is unseemly, but insists that under the circumstances, there was no other way. Interesting. Ooh, a forbidden epic. So that does give me one of the next level. The attention of the hours is drawn to the bloodiest wars. Afterwards, the histories are braided like hair. So this will let us secret locations in the land beyond the forests. All right, so there's another tier of expeditions. We want to study more books. De Horis, Book 2, in Latin, a 19th century reprint by the indefatigable Nathan Darcy Evers of a 14th century Latin translation of a 4th century work. We have definitely read De Hours 1 at some point. I just don't remember when. I think it was a long time ago. I wonder how much of the book stuff is randomized. I would love to know some of those underlying mechanics. Like, are the books fully randomized? Are they randomized within tiers? Are expeditions pretty well laid out? All right, we made it through the forest, so we'll probably immediately send in Maid in the Mirror. That seems worthwhile. Hopefully one of these, I think they can turn into contentment when they're done. That would be nice. I mean, that seems like such a big decision to just like change the cult like that. Supplies are low. Okay, no. So first I gotta send supplies, which sucks because that's gonna eat another 30 seconds off our Maid in the Mirror. But I suppose that that is my own fault. Oh, wait. I did do it. That's the one I had already done, but now I have 2? Why would I need 2 of these? It has 6 knock. Can I use it in a right? No, that would be far too simple. And they're not auctionable. Weird. Okay. So just because apparently is the answer. Do a secret histories one. Well, it's going to drive me nuts if I've just created an extra card sitting on my board. Can I give you both of them? Of course not. I mean, I suppose the next time one comes up, we'll already have it done with, I guess. That's not so terrible. An occasionally coherent catalog of the secret gods. This is an English translation of a volume describing the enmity between the Lionsmith and the Tribune of Scars. So we were just reading about them in the last book we read. This volume deals mostly with the Lionsmith, the Tribune of Scars, and their enmity. Cool, so maybe our finishing the study text will yield another salient detail. It's nice to get them kind of like right on the edge of one another, like back to back like that, because that lets me benefit a lot easier from trying to put pieces together. We don't have a temptation. We don't have a desire. We don't have an anything. Against the Watchers, powerful deception. Yeah, so we're using the moth, not the edge here. Sure. Doesn't seem like the smartest, but who am I to judge? We did not get any contentment out of those fleeting memories. You might have to explore them for that to happen. We'll try and get the contentment out of an opium dream. That hopefully will fire off before this restlessness turns into dread. We could always use it to summon something, I suppose, if we were getting into really dire straits. That's the big thing, right? Like the threat of me summoning stuff and having it be a problem, that's okay if we have an out. It's helping me, you know, kind of have an in case of emergency for some of the other stuff that's got me in the past. Their bewilderment is our opportunity. We'll pass in silent secrecy. All right, cool. So that should be this expedition iced. Turn in our secret histories and immediately do our forge commission. It is interesting. The commissions seemingly very much favor reason, so that's kind of one of the things that might be difficult for certain playthroughs. I talk about how the commissions replace the other jobs, but it could be tough if you don't have all the reason. The Lionsmith makes monsters to defeat the Tribune, but the scars of the Tribune are each a weapon. The knife's secret. So this is like a super, yeah, okay. Because I was like, I thought we had read other books in that series a long time ago, and it would seem as though that probably adds up, because this gave me a very, very low level lore. I think that's the smallest lore number we've seen in quite a while. The Thirsting Tantra. C.G. Burial, the Temperance Campaigner, published elements of this in a pamphlet, which had to be withdrawn and destroyed after it became too popular. Suppression Bureau. Hard at work. The place behind desire. All right, more silver spintrias. I will gladly accept such offerings. Treasure lies before us. All right. I like that they don't make you throw another coin in. Like, that's just saying, hey, it's finished, we're doing it. Glimmering. I have erudition and glimmerings on the board. Does that give me an advantage in upgrading any of my lore? So you, I would have just need sanctuary, so that's fine. We already know that. That would need a prisoner. And this one risks my reason. Okay, so I'm not too worried about upgraded heart lore. We already have that as like so high by comparison. We have a decent level forge lore currently being worked on. Try and upgrade you again. We have erudition, but that would be, that dread might be sticking around. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. If this despair abates instead of pulling another dread, maybe we will try and upgrade this. I don't want to keep the study verb too busy when we've got books we could be reading, though. The constant struggle, the opportunity cost trade-offs of running your very own cult. All right, Madame, here is your commission as requested. Our despair did abate, so I suppose there's not a ton of reason not to do this. Which means I am going to do it now rather than putting that book back in. We'll read that in just a second, but while I have dread and erudition, I might as well use them and get them done with. This one is still active. That one's like barely worth it. I'd hate to think that I've become that snobby, but I mean, let's be honest. When you've mastered so many corners of the secret histories, gotta dangle a little bit more. Need that silver spintria. The memory of crows. This is the great oak where the masked crow once roosted. Lightning has split it from head to heart, and the tree is charred and rotting. It squirms with finger-length worms. Something glints dully in the swarm of dead roots. A root coils around an egg of lead the size of a child. Perhaps it was plated with another metal once, but the weather has removed all trace of any coating. After a struggle, the halves of the egg come apart to reveal its contents. We have got all kinds of goodies. Looked like a very moth-heavy expedition, it would appear. A dappled mask. In the forest where the moon couldn't go, the boughs of the trees were woven together like bandages or lovers. The moon might change herself to an ant or to a bird or to her sister, but the forest would not yield to her penetrations, no matter her caresses. One day, we came with our scissors and we severed the branches until the moon and the blood dappled the rotting leaves on the forest floor. Higher level moth tool. Ooh, and a moth ingredient for our troubles. So now we actually have a situation. We have like 5 instruments in the moth category. So I think we're gonna relocate pigments, as much as it pains me to have to manually line them up, because it would appear they serve a slightly different purpose. Well, wait, I don't know how high these go. We might have room for 5. Let's just do this for now. I don't have anything better. All right. Change of plans. But these do appear to be consumable. A dark and syrupy liquor flavored in unnamed forest villages. Are favored in unnamed forest villages. The tongue and the eye, and now we begin. Forget your name. Forget your skin. Oh, interesting. This is a moth and grail item. It knows what I desire, or I imagine it does. Interesting. Did this also have 2 aspects? No, because it's very similar to the Cinnabar amulet. Huh. This is definitely the first tool I've seen that has 2 aspects tied to it. That's cool. I'm sorry, what? Written in Vac, before gods arose from blood, before ever apes stood upright, this was the language heard in the house of the sun. Okay. Well, I definitely don't speak Vac. So I guess you can go hang out with the Concursum diaries. All right. Sidetracked. What am I up to? We're using this dread in something. We got a Callagine that's about to expire. We should do another expedition is what we should do. Key Hunter's Garret. Vienna is one of those few cities which has the same name in every history, although adepts know it as the White City, or perhaps the City of the White. In a snowy street, in a crooked house, in a high and rattling attic, we have learnt that an eccentric hunter of imaginary keys has established a tiny trove of odd books. That sounds like something I like. Think we still have enough time for the percussagant. Once in Vienna, we hear that the key hunter has not been seen for many days. A local drunk insists that a great serpent entered the house to devour them. Certainly, the house is unlit and boarded up, and there is a reptile house smell. Fighting giant snakes now? Yeah, we'll have time to add the percussagant, I think. All right. Poppy, you're giving me garbage. Just full on garbage. Counts, we're still waiting on his to be done. So I guess this knock is just gonna chill over here. I don't know what to do with it. I gotta sell this Aramaic book too. I never read this. Wait. The Magus von Brandt's authentic and unique account of the true tongue of the true Holy Land of the Highmost, written excitably and in some haste by a gentleman in the grip of a transcendentalist enthusiasm, but nevertheless a useful guide to Aramaic. I think I might have learned Aramaic differently. I don't remember that book title. I don't recall. I think I might have learned it from a tutor. All right, so what we got? Oh, it's this. I've seen this snake before. Younger sister. Okay. She has very many younger sisters. It can be defeated in battle, or it will respond to the mother's power. I don't remember which one governs snakes. All right, lantern and knock and edge. So let's get lantern in there because I don't know which one we're gonna draw first. Just start setting that base. Meanwhile, we've still got that churning. I feel like I put this in forever ago. It's amazing how much I paused the game. Erudition or use a library. So you are gonna get fed an erudition. We got the detective back on the prowl. That's fine. Turn this in with the count. There's probably some stuff I could like let the game run while I'm handling some of the other verbs, but I get so overwhelmed. I don't know if anyone else feels that way playing this game, but there's a certain amount of anxiety that develops just because there's so many moving parts. Our strength is matchless. Okay. They're saying our strength is matchless. I'm saying let's send in a percussicant, right? Like there's matchless strength and then there's, oh, plus we have the percussicant. A substantial secret history. Let's do a Grail sermon. Wait. To be a threshold. Saint Agnes has drawn me here where I might fulfill my potential, not merely to open doors, but to become myself a door. To begin the process of creating a lock scar. I don't remember. I think I do remember this from the very beginning of the run, but it has been quite a time. So do you want lock lore? The 10th level. Jesus. I ain't got that kind of lock lore. Knock, not lock. It's a key, but it's for knock. Perhaps we will find some better knock lore in our books up and coming. He's almost assuredly going to wind up spitting out a tentative evidence at me, which is, I mean, I'm not suggesting he doesn't. He should. Do your job, son. Killed the snake. Love to see it. So the drunk was right. Like it wasn't like a turn of phrase or hallucination. Like a snake went into that man's house. Tristan interludes. We don't have a romantic partner. And then this we're using dread. Let's use the one that is going to take longer to expire, since I wound up with 2. I guess the other choice would be to fast forward if I'm going to pause all the time anyway. Should I try that? I'm almost at the end of an episode, so maybe I'll try it for next episode and see how I feel about it. I've played fast forward in the past, but I just feel like I'm always behind. All right, so now we're up against a door, which we're going to need lantern. And so now with the threat of this giant serpent diminished, we can stack up the lantern squad. Lantern squad, go! All right, winter lore upgraded. Furtive truths are level 4. I don't need any of those. So yeah, okay. The stag door, the spider door, and the peacock door. So if they all kind of go up in order, the stag door is what I need to unlock, but I don't know how to unlock it. And I for the life of me, I do not remember if I've had lore that would suggest how to do it. That's one complaint I think I can levy against Cultist Simulator that I don't know that I've ever articulated, is like, when you're done, not even when you're done, while you're doing a run in Cultist Simulator, you're uncovering so much content, so much prose, so many descriptions, that there is just like almost no chance of remembering all of it. Like, how am I supposed to remember the descriptions and the lore scraps of books I read forever ago? And there's not like a glossary. If Father Mattheson was a real cult leader and he was really kind of like searching for these truths, he would keep notes of the stuff he had found previous. I'd be able to go and review them. I don't know if a lot of people, maybe a lot of people play this with a wiki or something like that. I don't know that, oh, he didn't even find evidence? Man, you suck, Weary Detective. I don't think that's the case though, because they like, the developer flat out says like, hey, you'll have way more fun if you just like go through it, if you just goof with it. So I don't know. It's definitely tough to keep it all straight, especially like in my case where I play and then I take days and days and days at a time off. All right, we got our next batch of commissions lined up. I guess let's preach. I don't really know what to do with that work verb when I'm swimming in cash, so. All right, we got a bunch of dread. So you are now a level 10 winter lore. You are called Recitation of Lost Hours. 6 are gone. 5 came from stone and 1 from light. All went nowhere. Still, their memories have power, and now we call upon it. Interesting. Use this right with Martinite's paste and an assistant dedicated to knock to summon a maid in the mirror. Okay. So this is like flat out saying that some of the hours are gone. 5 came from stone and 1 from light. So there was like a different generation of hours, it would seem. This is the same deal. Library, never know skill, reason, a pit, and then what's the other one? Is this the one? Erudition. Okay, so it's the same batch. It's just now they've added the obsessive research. But I mean, that does indicate that they can go higher. So I guess maybe this board layout will eventually fail me if they can go beyond 10. We could test it, but I'm not too keen to put all my stuff on the line. We have our study verb available again though, so we can read the Thirsting Tantra. A disquisition of the many varieties of thirst, their uses, and their effects. So we read, we just recently read one that was about different types of hunger. So this is the same thing, but for thirst. And then we're gonna be able to see what we get from our expedition. Treasure indeed lies before us, and I'll probably cut the episode with that expedition. Lots of expedition work done. We're at a bit of a logjam though, because I don't know how we're gonna get more forbidden epics on any kind of regularity for the next tier, other than finding old ones and upgrading these guys. Which isn't too bad. It's just kind of a pain. But no luck with progressing Mansus. That I will admit is a bummer. I don't even know what I would do to try. Ashes above. The room stinks of serpent musk and burnt paper. Someone has comprehensively destroyed all the records they could find. They've even scrubbed the walls clean. Cold ashes choke the fireplace. No trace of the poor soul who rented this place remains. So didn't turn out so well. Looks like the snake got him. The Tantra describes how the satisfaction of thirsts may allow a mortal to rise into the service of the thirsting power, but warns of the consequences of rejecting those rarer thirsts for common ones. A man who thirsts, O Mighty One, whose mind clings to actions in this world, will return to this world of action from that other place. Okay, so So what we've learned in this game is you got to be thirsty. They want everyone being thirsty. The Rite of Seas Feasting, which is another duplicate. And then a Thyatic Invocation, which is the level 8. So we actually can now get this guy boosted up to level 10 as well. Use a prisoner, risk your health, and our HQ. That's pretty nice. I will start another book into translate, but we probably won't get to read it until next time. Against the Sisterhood of the Knot and the foulness of their depraved customs, Hieronymus Pseudo Hypnertomachus wrote this furious screed about the sinister influence of the Sisterhood on his own Church of the Unconquered Sun. So even like the religious groups that follow some of these different mythos, like they themselves kind of battle among one another. We've seen that a couple of times, so I guess it's not shocking that the beings that they deify also have a little bit of animosity. Perhaps I was being too naive that an entire pantheon got along. Get some bonus light in the skull action. A single corner of fire-curled paper has survived the flames. In a shaky hand, it reads, Lady K. Green Chalcedony, 3-lobed, spring leaves in but unexpectedly in a suitcase beside the flames. A little trove of books survives. Whoever destroyed the Key Hunter's journals saw no need to burn these books. All right, so plenty more to study. This you love to see. I am very, very excited by that. All right, so we got books aplenty still coming to you, but that will have to be in our next gameplay session. I'm just sorting them so I know what's what. This has got a book already kind of on the way, coming back from translation. We're gonna do the rest of these expeditions. We're gonna keep plowing through the continent expeditions. Near time frame goals, we got a couple. We've got to solve the Mansus. We've got to figure out what's going on in the Mansus. I'd like more knock lore, because it sounds like we're not too awful far off being able to do something different with the church. It talks about lock scars. What was it? Yeah, add lore at least of the 10th level and fervor to begin the process of creating a lock scar. So we can get fervor, we can just repeatedly preach until we have it. And as long as we've got that 10th level knock, we can do a lock scar. I don't know what that means. I guess we'll find out. And then we've got to find a way to get more forbidden epics, the level 8 secret histories lore, because we're going to need those for more expeditions after this. We've got a bunch of books, so there's a bunch of lore on the way. We might find a new rite. Maybe just reading a book, we can find a way to the stag door. Like maybe eventually we read someone recount their travels there. I don't know, but I feel like I've had the stag door in a different playthrough. And I don't ever remember, this is obviously the furthest I've ever progressed or run. So the fact that I don't have it is bonkers. But those are concerns for next time. If you have hung out and watched the entirety of the video, thank you so much for joining me and coming along on this journey with the Mirror of Glory. I really appreciate it. If you've not done so already, go do all those YouTube algorithm things, like the video, click subscribe, ring the notification bell, drop me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. If you have any ideas about what I'm missing about the Mansus, I would love some feedback. But I don't really know how to progress from here. So we're going to keep grinding away, but it feels like the pace is starting to slow down. So I apologize if the videos are not quite as snappy as they once were. If you click the reminder bell, you will know when the next episode of this goes live, as well as videos from the other games I play. Most of what I do is over on Twitch. If you check the About section down below, you'll find a couple links. One is to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Christopher'sBacklog, as well as the backlog itself. You can go look at all the games that are sitting unplayed in my library. And if you have an idea about which ones you'd like to see me play next, you can let me know. There's a guilded server where you can drop by, or you can hit me up on my Twitter, or honestly, just come by the stream. Come see me on Twitch. I'd love to chat and interact with you live. If YouTube is really your only thing, that's totally cool too. I'll have some more cult sim on the way very, very soon. And hopefully a better idea of what the hell we're going to do about the Mansus. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you in the next episode. Until then, be good to each other, but be ruthless with those backlogs. Thanks, everybody.